Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of life's biggest mysteries, genuine human connection. And you know who our guide is going to be? Well, it's the secretive world of illusion, magic, and mentalism. You know, the great Harry Houdini, he knew that success wasn't just about the trick. Not at all. It was about psychology, perception, and how you present it. And those are principles that go way beyond the stage, right into our daily lives. So what if those very secrets of illusionists could actually unlock the secrets to a real, genuine connection? In this explainer, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to deconstruct the tools of mentalists, everything from reading body language to the art of influence, and see how they can help us build stronger, more authentic relationships. All right, first up, the magician's secret. And it's all in your head. Let's dive right in. You look at modern mentalists like, say, Darren Brown, and it really seems like they're performing miracles, right? But the real secret, it isn't magic. Nope, it's a really deep understanding of human psychology, how our minds actually process the world around us. So Brown uses this powerful cocktail of methods. You've got your traditional magic techniques, a bit of hypnosis and suggestion, reading body language, all the way to cognitive psychology and misdirection. But here's the key takeaway, the most important part. His power really just comes from understanding how people think and feel, a lot of the time, even better than they understand themselves. Okay, next section. Reading the audience, decoding the unspoken. Think about it. Every great performer knows their act starts the second they lay eyes on their audience, way before a single word is spoken. And you know what? The exact same thing is true for every great communicator. It all starts with decoding those unspoken signals. And we've all seen this, right? You ask someone how they're doing, and they say, "Oh, I'm fine." But their body language is just screaming the opposite. You see the frown, the crossed arms. That's a classic mixed signal. And the real information, the truth, it lies in that gap between what they say and what their body is actually telling you. So these tiny, totally involuntary facial movements have a name. It's called nonverbal leakage. They flash across our faces in just a fraction of a second, like 1/25th of a second, and they betray our true emotions. Things like anger, fear, joy, even when we're actively trying to hide them. These are the tells that a mentalist, or really anyone who's paying close attention, is looking for. So where should you look for the most honest signals? Well, according to former FBI agent Joe Navarro, you need to look down. Think about it. We spend our entire lives learning how to control our faces, right? Putting on a brave face, a happy face, but we pay almost zero attention to our feet. And our feet, they're often pointing in the direction we really want to go, or they're tapping with impatience. They're the most honest part of our body. Okay, let's move on to the art of influence, where we start shaping the interaction. Now this is really important. We're building on what we've learned. We're moving from just passively reading signals to actively shaping a more positive interaction. And let me be clear, this isn't about manipulation, not at all. It's about making other people feel psychologically comfortable and at ease. So how do you do that? Well, former FBI behavior expert Robin Dreeke suggests 3 incredibly simple moves to build rapport almost instantly. First, angle your body slightly to the side. It's way less confrontational. Second, lower your chin a bit. That's a universal sign of curiosity. And finally, offer just a slight, genuine smile. It signals friend, not foe. It's such a simple but powerful way to invite connection. Okay, now for something a little different. Let's borrow a principle from a totally different field, martial arts, to see how we can improve our communication. Specifically, we're going to look at Bruce Lee's philosophy, Jeet Kune Do. Alright, so 2 core principles of Jeet Kune Do are economy of motion and the stop hit. In a conversation, economy of motion just means being direct, efficient, no waste of words. But the stop hit, that's really interesting. Instead of dodging a mixed signal, you intercept it. So if someone tells you, "I'm fine," but they look really upset, a stop hit would be to gently say, "Hey, you say you're fine, but you seem a little down. Is everything okay?" See? It's direct, it's honest, and it opens the door for real communication. But, and this is a huge but, there's a critical line we have to draw. These tools of influence, they have a dark side. When the intention shifts away from connection and toward control, that's when we cross over into manipulation. And a classic textbook example of this is love bombing. And the difference between the two is just stark. Genuine affection feels comfortable. It grows steadily over time. Love bombing, on the other hand, is way too intense, way too soon. It feels overwhelming, It demands constant attention, and it's all about creating dependency. One fosters independence, while the other completely wipes it out. It's really the difference between earning trust and trying to manufacture. So, after all of this, all these techniques, these nonverbal cues, these psychological strategies, what is the single most powerful tool for human connection? Well, here it is, the final reveal. Yeah, it turns out the best technique is no technique. As Mel Magazine put it so well, it's about just being a good person. Someone who doesn't act like a creep, who actually listens, and who treats other people with care and respect. That is so much more important than trying to memorize some complicated equation for connection. And we're actually seeing this shift in modern dating culture. People are moving away from all the game playing and more toward being intentional. You've got trends like slow dating, which is all about quality over quantity. And ghosting is starting to be replaced by soft exits, just short, kind messages that offer a little bit of closure and respect. It's this bigger cultural push for accountability. And right at the very heart of this shift is the foundation of all true connection: active listening. And what does that mean? It means being fully present, it means putting your phone away, it means asking open-ended questions, and maybe most importantly, creating a safe space where someone can actually feel vulnerable without being judged. All right, so let's get into the connection. Why is authenticity so magnetic? Why is it so much more effective than any mentalist trick you could ever learn? Well, it's because our brains are literally wired to be drawn to genuine self-expression. This isn't just some feel-good idea, it's rooted deep in our psychology. Believe it or not, the science backs this up. Research has actually found a direct link between creative activity, which is really the purest form of self-expression, and mating success. The theory is that creativity is an honest signal. It shows intelligence and genetic fitness. It shows who you really are without a script or performance. And this number right here, plus 0.31, that represents the significant positive correlation that one study found between a person's creative activities and, get this, their number of sexual partners. It's basically a statistical snapshot proving just how attractive genuine self-expression really is. So here's the real takeaway. True influence isn't about mastering tricks to use on other people. It's about mastering yourself. It comes from a place of inner security, from the confidence to just be yourself. And that kind of magnetism, well, no illusion can ever replicate that. And that brings us to our final question for you. What would change if you approached your next interaction not as a performance to perfect, but as a connection to build? Because the greatest mentalist trick you can ever pull is to stop performing tricks altogether. Focus less on being interesting and more on being interested. Approach your next conversation with genuine curiosity instead of a script, and I promise you, that's where you'll find the real magic.